Hey everyone, Aaron here, and this is another essay review. Today's surprise attack review is of Monster Musume. So, I apologize, but I'm going to kind of rant at the beginning of this. Once again, I'm not a huge fan of harem anime. I think that in many ways when I review harem anime, I have to be careful of bias because I don't like harem anime. But I do like some anime that have harem concepts. For example, Love Hina, and actually, let me take that back. I love the manga for that, not the anime. The anime, I think, for that is total trash. But the manga, and the harem concept in that is fun. The main character ends up getting with one of the main girls at one point, and it ends on a good romantic note. And that's one of the things that makes reviewing harem anime in general very hard for me, is because I like romance stories. I like stories that have a main guy and a girl get together and actually share romantic interests. You could throw in that love triangle. That's not a big deal. And I almost don't want to call anything that has a love triangle a harem, because I don't think that's the right way of saying it. I know some people do call love triangles harems, and I think that's incorrect. But you could throw a love triangle into a show and make it still fun, and you can make it still a good romance story. And again, if harem anime is done in a certain way, it can be watchable. High School DxD, I would never say is the greatest anime of all time, but it's a good anime because it knows its target audience first off, it knows what it's trying to go for, but at the same time, it plays around with the harem concept. The main character, the running gag along the whole show is that he loves harems. He wants a harem of his own one day. So it kind of is funny. It comes off as funny more than kind of creepy or stupid. Um, that's one thing that I think I can tolerate about harems if they do stuff like that. Amagi SS is considered a harem because there are multiple girls in that, but that isn't to me a harem because each arc focuses on main character falling in love with one girl rather than all the girls flocking to him right away. And I think that's interesting. I think that's done well. That's something I can get behind. Monster Musume is, I think, something that goes at the very far end spectrum of something I can't almost tolerate, but I can still tolerate enough that I can give it a review and I can score it. And I'm not going to put too much bias on it, in terms of what I'm talking about. So, Monster Musume says, kind of finally get onto this review, and I apologize for that rant. I hope you guys understood my concept. I want to put that out front. I'll try to avoid that from here on out if I do any more harem anime, but it's something that I need to put out. But anyways, our main character, Kurihito, is your typical everyday Japanese man who he has, nothing really going on for him. He's kind of a single guy until he gets involved in the interspecies exchange program, which basically is that humanity has actually found existence of multiple creatures. They found harpies, slime creatures, spider creatures, mermaids, etc., etc. And instead of kind of boundering them outside of the world, or instead of fighting them or killing them off, or even trying to avoid them even come in contact with them, they've actually allowed them to actually immigrate into our society. But the rule is that they must have a host family or someone protecting them and watching over them to be responsible for them. And our main character one day just out of nowhere gets kind of involved in that program, not because he wanted to or sought it out, but because someone in the program decided to put him into it, and he gets paired up with a Lamia, which is a half human, half snake person. And the running joke along the show is that as the show progresses, more girls end up getting involved with them. But again, the whole show isn't your typical harem anime where this is all just regular girls. Instead, they are all monster girls. Something that isn't seen very often in anime, almost seen never in anime. It's seen more in manga, but even the manga usually is very kind of hidden and obscure. And I'll tell you right now, it's for a fun fact that I just found out. This was so popular in the West in terms of manga that it actually hit the New York Times bestseller for every volume that was released. And I think that's amazing. I'm blown away by that because I guess there are more fans of this type of genre that I understood were. Because I know this is a running trope in Japan, kind of the monster concept of girls. But in America, you don't really hear talk of that, and yet seemingly there's apparently a lot of viewers for it. But the show, compared to the manga, because when I read the manga about a year ago, or a year and a half ago, I want to say I started reading it, it's over-sexualized, it has nudity, it's such and such. The anime took away a lot of the nudity, took away some of the over-sexualization. There's still a lot of fan service. really fast to put it so I don't forget later on. This has an Ichi level of 10 out of 10. If I could, I'd say like 12 out of 10. Because it does have a lot of fan service and a lot of, chest shots and, awkward moments of the girls having some weird stuff happen to them. But what's funny about this show is that it never takes itself too seriously. It actually pays homage to a lot of harem animes and a lot of video game references, and it just has a lot of running gags along with it, which I think is kind of funny. I actually laughed a lot watching the show. It doesn't have a good story. It doesn't have very good character progression. I think the main character, as goofy and as dumb as he is, actually is the best part of the show, because he is goofy, but he never really progresses out of that goofy and kind of caring nature. And it's interesting because this show doesn't progress anywhere. It's actually more girls end up with the main character and him getting either closer to them or trying to figure out where he's going to be, because at one point at the show, and this is kind of a spoiler, but he's told early on that he has to marry one of them to make the culture exchange program work perfectly, because that's what they wanted to do. And it kind of becomes a running gag, is that which girl is going to end up marrying him. I mean, even the opening shows all the girls as potential brides for him, and it's kind of just funny. I mean, again, these aren't regular people. I mean, mermaids, spider ladies, harpies, lamias, centaurs. It's funny. It's comical. The sonars that happen to the main character, because these people are so different from his culture, is funny, and that's the reason why they fall in love with him, is because he appreciates them beyond being monsters, but he appreciates them as girls, which a lot of the society still hasn't done. Because, I mean, typical, if you think about if we had creatures now existed today, if people started seeing them in everyday society, not too many people would rather be kind of open arms to them. They put them aside or kind of make fun of them, and that's why the main character has all the girls. That's the potential plot of it, is that they see him being a nice guy to them despite whatever they're being. But Monster Musume is a passable show. It is funny. It has some funny elements. It has some good art. I love the colors for the show. I think actually one of the strongest suits of the show is the color palettes they use for the characters. They're all very vibrant and nice. And again, the voice dub is very good. The soundtrack's it's nothing new. So overall, if I had to review this show A through F, I give it a C-. It's a passable show. If you watch it, your miles will vary, because either you'll love the show for what it is, because I mean, there's a lot of people. Come on, I know half my subscribers like harem anime. I know half don't. But if you like harem anime, you'll love this show. It embodies that in every way. If you hate harem, you're gonna hate this show. There's no running around it. It's a stupid show if you don't like harems. I think I fall into the middle category, because again, I try to go unbiased into every anime I watch, because regardless if harem is not my cup of tea or not, it's still an anime, and I do respect all types of anime. I do want to watch all types of anime, except hentai. Hentai can go, screw itself, but my looks on that. I'm not going to go into that. But yeah, this is a C-. The show has no plot, no story per se. That's big. That's the biggest flaw of it right there. But again, it's a harem anime at its core. It doesn't flaunt it. It has over-sexualization of women. It has a lot of fan service, a lot of ichi moments. But it's funny. It has a lot of comical moments. It has a lot of references to other anime and video games alike. So a C- I think is respectable. I think it's. I'll tell you right now, it's a lot better than Testament and You Sister, which I thought was horrible, and I reviewed that with a D. Actually, no, I think I reviewed that with an F. And if I review with a D, it's sad. I don't remember what I reviewed that. Even though I reviewed that the other day, I apologize. But yeah, that's it. I want to keep going around with this, but it's a show that it's okay for what it is. Your results again will vary depending on what you like. Anyways, guys, I hope you like this content. Sorry for the little bit longer review, but it's kind of had to go on that 2-minute rant at the beginning. Like, comment, subscribe. It helps me out. I need my subscribers to build up. I would really love to get to 50 by the end of this year. I think that is passable and easy to do. And I know I'm seeing 32 subscribers in 2.5 months is amazing, guys. Come on, keep it up. I know a lot of people that watch my reviews still aren't, subscribing to me, or still, are kind of on the fence. That's okay. At least viewing it is not a big deal. I'm gonna have to do a thank you video soon for 1,000 views. But almost 1,000. But I'm gonna have to do one soon. But anyways, guys, that's it for this review. As always, until I pass across again in the next review, have a good one, everyone. Bye.